Yo, what's up guys, and welcome to episode 4 of the 0 to a Million Trading Guide. And in this one, we'll be doing the first, I guess, actual bit of trading as such. And this is the method I used at the beginning of last week to get my coins. And it is the lazy buyer method now, because there are so many new people to FIFA. There are so many people with coins and they have money to burn. I'll walk you through quickly what the lazy buyer is before I go on to the 4 different sorts of players you can do the lazy buyer method with. One, what is the lazy buy method? The lazy buy method is basically you buying players and you listing them for more than they're worth and them being purchased. Now they might get purchased for multiple reasons. One, people are younger and they just don't have the concept of finding stuff on the market for the cheapest. I know I had this when I was younger. I just straight up bought whatever was on the market. So first we've got young people who don't really know stuff about the market. 2, you got people who have too much money to know what to do with, so they'll just be like, yeah, I'll just buy them off the market. Wherever one pops up, yeah, that looks like a decent price. And 3, you got your miss buyers. I've been, you know, have had that myself. So basically, you go to look at someone's price and you accidentally buy their card. For example, this year, I had a young Path to Glory Ousmane Dembele sitting about 35k. I was making my pre-World Cup investments, and bang, I accidentally buy one for 100. I think it's like 240k. Or something, I might be in 180k, something like that, you know, basically you miss buys. So that's how it works. So basically you buy the players, you list them for more, and someone, fortunate person, buys them for potentially double what they're worth. So we've got about 3-4 different parts this works into. I'll talk from them quickly. First off, you got players that are very commonly used for advanced SBCs. Second off, you got very high rated players that there's a lack of supply, therefore they're fluctuating a little bit. And then on top of that, people are like, an 84 and 85 for cheap. Yeah, I'll buying for that when they're not actually really going for anything because there's no SBCs they're needed for. Third thing, you got people's starter teams. So for example, you know, the teams like Van Aanholt and so on, you know, where they're just buying the little star teams. Therefore, because these cards are getting purchased so commonly, there's, you know, you're bound to get a bite on them as such. And I believe that's it. And then you got a little bit of lazy buy method where you've got your predicted investments that you think are going to go up, and you're just going to list them for way more than their going rate. And I think we'll start off with that. So for example, I go buy Gabriel Jesus, right? And I'm not actually going to use the Gabriel Jesus myself. He's an investment. Now, what I always believe is always have like 70 to 80 things on your transfer list listed at one time, because if I have a Gabriel Jesus in my club, I'm not planning on doing anything with it. It's just sitting there. But if I have that Gabriel Jesus and I list him up on the market for 20-30k more than he's going for, well then I might get lucky and someone might buy him by accident. Let's say someone might have too many coins to know what to do with and buy him for, I don't know, let's say Gabriel Jesus is going for 40k, but I list him for 70k, that's 30k easy. Or again, let's say someone misbuys and, you know, they're just flicking through the cards and they accidentally buy one which they thought was a deal, but, you know, wasn't a deal as such. So that's an easy 30k. So again, the one thing I would say is make sure to always have your transfer list filled up with players, and always get your mates to send you over those transfer list upgrades. There's no point sitting on 20 transfer list space. You're killing yourself. Just get that 100, and even if I don't know, even if you give your mate a 5 or whatever, you know. I mean, if your mate was charging a 5 for your transfer list, I'd question him. But yeah, so that's what I'd say. Make sure you get transfer list and always have stuff listed. So again, the first one we are going to talk about is your investments and kind of how to work out where you want to list them for lazy buyers as such. So again, these can be your Gabriel Jesus's, maybe you go in your Martials, your Humming Songs, your Naki Williams as such. And basically, what I normally look to list them up for is kind of double what I bought them for, but maybe skim a little bit. It kind of depends. So I'll give you a little breakdown of players. So again, let's say a player is going for 50k. Well, then what I'll do is, if I'm in no hurry to sell them as they're an investment, I'll list them for 70k bid, 90k buy now. One quite big thing about this is make sure there's a fair bit of space between the bid and buy now. And one of the reasons why I personally like leaving a bit of room between the bid and buy now is because someone might think it's a deal. You know, like I could look on the market, because I'm on a, I don't know, I guess I'm unaware of the going rate. I could go, oh, Gabriel Jesus, 30k between the bid and buy now. That's potentially 30k profit I could make, or I'm getting him 30k cheaper. It's not, but you're tricking someone into thinking that, you know. It's so mean, the old lazy buy method. So let's say again, let's say they were 50k, well then I'll list them up for 70k bid and 90k buy now, making anywhere from 20 to 40k profit after, prior tax. Okay, and then let's go, say you got Martial. Martial's actual going rate is 20k. Well then, if he's 20k, I might list him up for 29k bid and 32k buy now. One thing I quite like doing is just like kind of teeter-tottering over a price and under like a multiple of 10 and under a multiple of 10. So say they're worth 30k, listen, maybe 49k bid, 52k buy now, or something along the lines of that. So that's one thing I'd say. If they're going for about 20k, try and list them up for 29k bid, 32k buy now. Maybe if you anticipate them to go up a lot more, maybe you go, say they're worth 20k, maybe you list them up for, I don't know, 35k bid, 42k buy now. Again, keeping 7k between that bid and buy now. And then we'll go way down to the guys that say worth 5 to 6k. Just go 9k bid, 12k buy now. Again, you're going to be doubling your coins. And then also let's go all the way down to the guys worth around about 1 to 3k. You just want to list them up for around about 1 to 2k more than they're going for. So let's say I buy a guy for 1.5k. Well, then what I'll do is I'll list them up for 2.7k bid. You know, maybe 3.2k buy now or 2.9k buy now. The one massive thing is you always want to leave a little bit of room between the bid and buy now. Trust me, I'll go into maybe more depth of the sort of prices you want to list them up for. Especially, one thing I don't think I showed on the last few guides were everything you see on this video is going to have like a written format. So it might be that I make a massive Excel sheet going, you're buying for this much, you're listening for this much. But it's one thing with this is it's a player-to-player basis. You know, like every player is going to rise differently. So it means you want to anticipate you're a lazy buy for more, because if you're anticipating a player to go up loads, you're not going to only listen for 1, 2k more, you're probably going to listen more like 5, 7k more and so on and so on. So that's kind of the first bit, is your investments. Just list your investments way more than you bought them for, way happy what you're comfortable selling them for, maybe get some predictions off myself or maybe some other traders, what they think they're going to go for, and then just list them up for that, you know, like 2-3 days before when you anticipate that. So that is the first thing. The second thing is buying players who are madly commonly used in SBCs. So I'll go straight into an example with this one, is the likes of Zabaleta. Now if you guys remember the advanced SBCs, there is an advanced league SBC and you need one with 5 different leagues, one with 7 different leagues, one with 9 different leagues and one with 11 different leagues. Now if you remember, Argentina was used very heavily, Brazil was used very heavily, Spain was used very heavily, I think even Serbia was used a fair bit, but it was mainly Argentina. Now, these are where you need to identify stuff and, you know, what's going to need for the SBC. If you look at Argentinian rare right-backs, you've literally got Zabaleta and a guy from the Argentinian league. Therefore, as a result, Zabaleta is your only other, because obviously an Argentinian from the Argentinian league is extremely mainstream, whereas a BPL from the Argentinian league, it's not so mainstream, but bear in mind you only have one option in that position other than an Argentinian league. He's amazing, so you could be picking him up for around about 1.5k. You know, it's a fair bit for Zabaleta. He's got a really trash card, but like 1.5k bids, you know, maybe get a snipe on 1.5k buy now. And then list him up for like 2.9k bid, 3.5k buy now, and just keep on doing it over and over again, because people want an Argentinian right back who's not from the Argentinian league. They're having to use Zabaleta, so his price is fluctuating left, right, and centre. So again, this has got a little bit to do with the lazy buy method, and a little bit to do with fluctuating this one right here. Again, let's say someone's looking on Footbin. Okay, the cheapest one's Argentina. Okay, it says Zabaleta's only worth 1.5k. And then he just keeps on getting used in SBCs till he goes up to like 3-4k. So, again, you want to always have a little play around with these. But I do remember Zabaleta was one player I was using pretty filthily at the beginning of the game. Now, looking into a few of the other ones, we've got other Brazilian right wings such as Felipe Anderson, Bruno Perez, and Malcolm. Again, with this one, you did need lots of leagues, and if you look at Brazilian right wings, there just wasn't that much of an option. I think there's, again, like 4 or 5 players, including probably like Marlos. I mean, obviously Marlos isn't Brazilian this year, but Felipe Anderson, Lucas, all these players were seeing quite, you know, a fair bit at the beginning. So you're like an option of 3 players to use in the Brazilian right mid position. And again, so these players were fluctuating left, right, and centre. And again, the final player I remember doing this with was a guy called Gonzalez, who played for Atlanta in the MLS. Again, this guy was a rare, because some of these SPs did make you need rare guys, like 6 rare guys, 4 rare guys, 5 rare guys. So that's why I'm talking about rares over non-rares, because, you know, there's like less supply of rare Argentinian players from another league other than non-rares, because you've got loads in like the Liga North, Mexican League, and so on and so on. But yes, we had the Gonzalez, the centre-back. Again, these players aren't actually sitting at like a cheap price for their card, but a cheap price for the SBC. So you can be picking them up for, again, like 1.2, 1.5k, and then the next day flipping them for 3.2, because they're fluctuating loads. And on top of that, again, people are probably lazy buying them as such. So that is the second set. The third set of players are high-rated players. Now, I had to do a little bit of research, because I can't remember me fully doing this. But I couldn't believe, like, at the beginning of FIFA now, it might be a little bit differently this year, because obviously we know high rating is needed. But high-rated players were so cheap at the beginning. Again, I was looking at Strootman's. Strootman was in at like 3-4k at the beginning of the year. Gaitan's in at like 1.2k. He was a 83 red Argentine left mid from Atletico. Hasn't been in packs for a while, to be honest. Bruno was very cheap at the beginning of the year. And then I wouldn't want to say too many more because I've only done research on a few players. But yeah, so you can go buy these high-rated players, and again, you've got two things you're running off of here. One, people going, oh, Strootman there for like 5k, 6k at the beginning of FIFA, not too bad. And then on top of that, with players like Bruno where they're high-rated and non-rare, because non-rares are rarer than rares because you've got like 50k packs, 100k packs flooding rares, whereas non-rares are only being put on via these prime packs and such. There's a lack of them, and then someone might, you know, and therefore if he's being used in SBCs, because there are a few SBCs at the beginning needing like 80 rated, you know, if he's an 84 rated, maybe going for 1k, 2k, he's being put into the cheap scenario and footbin. He's gone up to 4k just again because this card there's a lack of him on the market. You know, if there's anything rarer than non-rares, it's high-rated non-rares because of course they're patched less than the low-rated non-rares. So yeah, again, you can have them, and again, they'll also sell on because people will look at them and go, they're high-rated, that's pretty cheap. So again, I might be buying Brunos for about 1.5 to 2k, and then listing up for 3.9k bid, 4.2k buy now, and selling him. And again, what you're doing, you know, if you're doing this with 80 players, let's say 60 different players, every single, because again, this is one of the main methods I used to make my money last year, and it was actually stupid how well it worked. And if you list up, let's say 80 players, 60 different players, you'll be selling about 4 to 9 players every single hour. Which means if you're making 1 to 2k, you're making about 10 to 12k an hour, literally just listing these players on the market. And that's saying that when you're doing this, you're not getting a really good snipe, or you could do maybe some other sort of sniping or some investing in the background. It's literally, you have like so many players, hit RB, list them, hit RB, list them, and then you come back and always a few will sell on every time. And then you can always have a constant flow of players because you could use your watch list where you can bid on 50 players to just start picking up some deals on bid, and then just throw them straight onto the transfer list once you go rid of some cards. Again, you can literally list up like 90 cards at a time, and I just remember this was my go-to method last year, and you have a very, very good success rate. So we're going to move on to the next thing, and these are players that are popular for starter teams. So obviously at the beginning of FIFA, people don't have, well, your average players will have less coins. So let's say they might be seeing like 20 to 50k maybe. Maybe they open a few points. Maybe they did some SBCs, so on and so on. So as a result, there is a high demand for starter team players. So all I say, for example, Van Aanholt. We might say Wendell, the Brazilian guy from Leverkusen. These sort of like low rated but very pacey players. And because there is so much demand for them, and as I said, kids don't really have mad concept of the market. I didn't when I was younger. If I maybe bought a Wendell for 1k and list them up for 2.9k, 3.2k, 3.9k bid, 2.9k bid, 3.2k buy now, just because he's being bought so commonly, you're more likely to get a bite than if it's like some Randy from like the Super League or something like that. So if you're buying these super commonly bought players, well then you're likely to have bites. So that's another player you're looking for. So again, if you're on here, I've got is Van Aanholt, Malcolm, the right wing from the Ligue 1, just because you didn't. I mean, you probably had Lucas, but I can't remember how much he was at the beginning of the game. But yeah, the likes of Wendell, the likes of Schmelzer again from the Bundesliga left back. You really, if you're not using the likes of Alba, there's two options, and Alba's in at 60k, so these cards are getting bought so commonly. Again, on top of that, Wendell was Brazilian. So final thing we're going to go on to is chemistry styles. So of course at the beginning of the game, everyone starts with basic chem style and you have to apply the chemistry styles. Well, because the game's only just started, there are a lack of people who've put chemistry styles on players, which means players with certain chemistry styles are quite rare, so if I jump onto the game straight away, there's going to be no Gabriel Jesus with Hunter. If I give it 2 weeks, there might be 100. But 100 compared to the amount of people using him, compared to the amount of people who put Hunter chem styles on him, it's quite rare. So an example is, I'm searching the market of Izaquader. I'm like, hey, I wonder what his price is. Or I'm looking at bids. I'm like, okay, Izaquader is selling on a 3k bid. Well, then I see one with Hunter. I'm like, okay, I know that Hunter, let's say Hunter at the beginning of the game is 4k, right? So an Izaquader, normal Izaquader is 3k, and I see one with a Hunter on open bid, and I bid 4k on it. Therefore, now I've got an Izaquader worth 3k with a Hunter worth 4k, but which obviously is 7k combined, but I got it for 4k. And because there might not be too many Izaquaders with a Hunter, because lobbing a Hunter on a 78 rated player is quite rare, I might have this card for 4k, but be able to list it, let's say, 5.9k bid, 6.5k buy now, so I'm flipping about 2 to 2.5k. And as I say, there will eventually be someone wanting an Izaquader with a Hunter, and it's cheaper to buy my card than do it yourself. So, they'd go out and buy my card. Again, it's a very sweaty player. So I do have a small list of chem styles. So you have kind of like two waves, two sort of things you want to prioritise. Your main priorities are going to be on Hunter, Shadow, Hawk, and Anchor. Probably want to look at Hawk and Anchor. I can honestly see Shadow and Hunter just being sniped like there's no tomorrow. Whereas we've seen Anchor and Hawk being seen about 1.5 to 2k at the beginning of FIFA, so happy days. And then your second wave is running off a Catalyst and Engine. Honestly, people just love anything that gives a good bit of pace. I also might throw Sentinel in there, the one giving defending and strength, or physical, sorry. Just because obviously people want very defensive defenders. But, and yeah, of course you've got the likes of Catalyst giving 3 lots of pace, but passing really weird this year. Catalyst really died out this year on like popularity as such. And then of course you've got Engine giving passing, dribbling, and pace, I think it is as such. So that was also relatively popular. So that is it for episode 5. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Again, make sure to drop, and I haven't said this in any episodes, it's kind of annoyed me a bit, but drop any questions you have in the comments. I'm probably on holiday right now, and you know, it's the crazy stuff I do on holiday is responding to comments. But now, if you guys do have any questions regarding these videos, just jump down below. I'll answer all of them. And then, hey, you know, if you're watching this video and it's already been out for a month, you can still drop comments, because I can assure you, unless my channel blows up, I am not going to be busy whatsoever. You know, it's not like I'm too busy responding to comments, you know. Really, probably not going to be at that point. I'll probably always have like 10-20 minutes just respond to comments like, yeah. Yeah, I'm joking. I'll respond to it properly. But yeah, so that is the end of the video. Any questions, make sure to drop them down below. If you do enjoy this video, make sure to drop it a like. I do actually put decent time. These are taking me like an hour to 2 hours to do, because I'm having to do the Photoshop, and I don't know much about Photoshop. Like the last one was a poorly scaled FIFA 19 pack, but I had to literally with an eraser tool cut round this pack off of like a YouTube. It was a nightmare. But so yeah, they're taking a bit of time. If you guys want to follow the Twitter, I tweet when I'm live, and you'll automatically see the YouTube videos live. Check out the Twitch, because I'll be live streaming 12 to 14 hours every single day from around about the 15th, 17th. Anything you can do, subscribe, because you'll make loads of coins this year if you subscribe to me. You know, it's just basics. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. What's the plan of action for tomorrow's vid? Probably be torn for another trading video you can do on the... Of course, you can do this on the web app. You know, this is... I don't know if I've said that, but this is a web app and console thing. I was doing a lot on the console, but I'm sure it works a fair bit on the web app. There will be less buys, and you'll have less bites on PlayStation, because there will be less people playing on it until the full game... You know, until the full game's actually out. But and then there'll be more people actually biting. But yeah, so I'll wrap that up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.